Welcome to Making a Murder, Rubberducky video channel. All right, you guys, we're on to our fourth day this week, and we're on part 94 of the RD Making a Murder Daily MaM Reading, and this is the CASO Investigative Reports. Page 931. At 21:24 hours, a presumptive test was done on the stain towards the bottom of the left post. I did the presumptive test and did obtain a negative result for blood. Deputy Hawkins collected possible hair fibers from the headboard. See Deputy Hawkins' report in regards to that information. The headboard was then placed back into secure evidence room for further analyzation that would be done on Wednesday, 03/29/06. Sergeant Bill Tyson, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 932. Type of activity, processing of evidence. Date of activity, 03/29/06. Reporting Officer Sergeant Bill Tyson. On Wednesday, 03/29/06, at approximately 1600 hours, Deputy Hawkins and myself, Sergeant Bill Tyson, did remove the headboard tag number 8361 from the secure evidence room. I did carry it back to the training room for further analyzation. We tipped the headboard over and did analyze the backside of the headboard. Upon analyzing the backside of the headboard, we did notice stains on the back of the headboard consistent with the fluid running down the headboard and drying. I did place a telephone call to Investigator Weger, who was at a conference in the city of Green Bay. I informed Investigator Weger of our finding and asked him if he wished for us to do presumptive tests, and I informed him that I feared if we did presumptive tests, it could possibly destroy a pattern if the stains were indeed that of blood. Investigator Weger informed me we should place the headboard back into secure evidence room so the headboard could be analyzed by himself and Special Agent Fassbender on Monday, 04/03/06. The headboard was placed back into secure evidence room by Deputy Hawkins and myself. The powder horn, property tag number 8348, was removed from secure evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. At 1852 hours, the powder horn was unpackaged by myself. Deputy Hawkins did photograph the powder horn, and the powder horn was analyzed, and after analyzation, it was determined the powder horn was of no evidentiary value. The powder horn was returned to the secure evidence room. The outlet cover, property tag number 8365, was removed from the secure evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. At 1902 hours, I unpacked the outlet cover, at which time Deputy Hawkins did photograph the outlet cover. At 1909 hours, I did collect a swab of a portion of a stain that was located in the corner of the outlet cover. Deputy Hawkins had photographed the stain prior to me collecting a sample of the stain. At 1913 hours, I did a control swab in the vicinity of that stain. At 1914 hours, I collected another swab of the stain that was located in the grooved area of the outlet cover. At 1916 hours, a control swab was obtained in the area next to the grooved area of the outlet cover that contained the stain. At 1917 hours, I did collect a portion of the red-colored stain that was located to the right of the center of the outlet cover. A control swab was done at 1919 hours in the vicinity to the right of the center of the outlet cover. Page 933. At 1922 hours, I did swab an unknown stain which was located in the top corner of the outlet cover. At 1925 hours, a control swab was done near the unknown stain which was located at the top corner of the outlet cover. At 1927 hours, I did swab an unknown stain which was located on the side of the outlet cover. At 1929 hours, a control swab was done on the side of the outlet cover. The outlet cover was then placed back into the secure evidence room. At 1933, I did change gloves, and item number 8356, identified as a light switch cover, was removed from the evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. At 1933 hours, I did unpackage item number 8356 for analyzation. Deputy Hawkins did photograph the light switch cover. Deputy Hawkins did swab 2 stains. See Deputy Hawkins' report for information in regards to those stains. Property tag number 8356 was placed back into the secure evidence room after analyzation done by Deputy Hawkins. At 1952 hours, Deputy Hawkins did unpackage the Uniden phone charger phone, property tag number 8346. At 1956 hours, Deputy Hawkins did a presumptive test on the possible stain on the number 0 on the Uniden phone. The result of the presumptive test was inconclusive, and at 2000 hours, Deputy Hawkins did swab the stain. Deputy Hawkins processed the rest of the telephone. See Deputy Hawkins' report for further information on that piece of evidence. After the Uniden phone and charger were placed back into the secure evidence room, the ceramic lion property tag number 8357 was taken to the training room for analyzation. I did unpackage the ceramic lion at approximately 23 hours. Upon analyzing the ceramic lion, I could see several dark spots on the ceramic lion. Deputy Hawkins and myself realized we ran out of presumptive tests and were unable to locate any more presumptive tests. The ceramic lion was then placed back into secure evidence room, awaiting more presumptive tests for analyzation. At approximately 2112 hours, the partial yardstick property tag 8628 was removed from the evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. I did unpackage that item. Deputy Hawkins photographed the partial yardstick. Deputy Hawkins did a swab on the unknown stain, which was located on the number 32.5 inch on the partial yardstick. Deputy Hawkins also did a control swab in that vicinity at 2120 hours. The partial yardstick was then returned to the secure evidence room. Page 934. The brown shells on a string, item number 8351, was removed from evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. At 2124 hours, I did unpackage that item. That item was analyzed and found to have no evidentiary value. The item was repackaged by myself and returned to the evidence room at 2126 hours. The clock radio, item number 8345, was removed from the evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. I did unpackage that item at 2127 hours. Deputy Hawkins did the analyzation of that evidence. See Deputy Hawkins' report for further information. The black-colored hanger, property tag number 8349, was unpackaged by myself at approximately 2148 hours. I did analyze the hanger with natural lights as well as blue light and found it to have no evidentiary value. The black hanger was repackaged and placed back onto the cart, which contained other pieces of evidence that needed to be analyzed. At approximately 2154 hours, I did unpackage the heat vent, property tag number 8374. Upon analyzing the heat vent, I did locate 2 dark-colored stains on the heat vent. I did swab one of the stains, which was located near the top of the heat vent. The swab was collected at 2201 hours. At 2203 hours, the control swab for the stain at the top of the heat vent was collected. At 2216 hours, I did collect a portion of a second stain on the heat vent, which was located underneath the damper of the vent. At 2218 hours, a control swab was obtained from the area of the stain under the damper. It shall be noted the heat vent was photographed by myself, and the stains were photographed by myself prior to collection of the stains. The heat vent was then repackaged and placed back onto the cart. At approximately 2230 hours, I did unpackage the green-colored hula skirt, property tag number 8353. Upon analyzing the hula skirt, I did look at the hula skirt with natural light and also blue light. Under blue light conditions, I could see some small stains on the flowers of the hula skirt. I did photograph the hula skirt as well as the stains that were located. At approximately 2242 hours, I did collect a portion of a stain on the flower number 2 on the hula skirt. At 2245 hours, a control sample was taken off of flower number 2 near the stain. At 22:49 hours, I did collect a portion of the stain off of flower number 3. At 22:51 hours, a control swab was done on flower number 3 in the vicinity of the stain. The hula skirt was then placed back onto the evidence card. All evidence was then returned to the secure evidence room by Deputy Hawkins and myself, Sergeant Bill Tyson, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 935. Type of activity processing of evidence. Date of activity 040206. Reporting officer Sergeant Bill Tyson. On 040206, Deputy Hawkins and I, Sergeant Bill Tyson, returned to the evidence room to continue with the processing of evidence. At approximately 16:45 hours, the necklace, property tag number 8352, was removed from the evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. Deputy Hawkins did unpackage the necklace, at which time he did collect 2 DNA swabs of the necklace. See Deputy Hawkins' report for that information. The gun rack, property tag number 8347, was taken from the evidence room and brought to the training room for analyzation. At 1700 hours, Deputy Hawkins did unpackage the item. Deputy Hawkins examined and processed the gun rack. See Deputy Hawkins' report for information pertaining to that piece of evidence. The nightstand, property tag number 8355, was removed from the evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. At 17:35 hours, I did unpackage the nightstand. Deputy Hawkins photographed the nightstand and did collect some stains from the nightstand. See Deputy Hawkins' report for further information. At 18:56 hours, I did collect a hair or a fiber from the rear right leg of the nightstand. The hair or fiber was photographed by Deputy Hawkins, Sergeant Bill Tyson, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 936. Type of activity processing of evidence. Date of activity 040306. Reporting officer Deputy Jeremy Hawkins. On Monday, 040306, I, Sergeant Bill Tyson, did meet with Sheriff Jerry Pogel, Investigator Mark Weger, Investigator John Dietering, and Special Agent Tom Fassbender at the Sheriff's Department. The decision was made for Deputy Hawkins and myself to remove the headboard, property tag number 8361, from the evidence room so that piece of evidence could be analyzed by them. Deputy Hawkins and myself did remove the headboard from the evidence room and did carry the headboard to the training room, and did lay the headboard on freezer paper on the top of tables. They did look at the headboard, and the decision was made for Deputy Reamer to photograph the stains on the back of the headboard. Deputy Reamer did the photography of the stains. The decision was made by Special Agent Fassbender and Investigator Weger to not do presumptive tests on those stains, and they did wish for us to package the headboard and send the headboard to the crime lab in Madison for analysis. It should be noted that when we analyzed the headboard, we could not see any striations around the spindle of the headboard consistent with that of having handcuffs or leg iron secured to the spindles of the headboard. The headboard was ultimately secured in a cardboard box and turned over to Investigator Weger for transportation to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab. Evidence sheets were signed indicating such transaction. At approximately 16:30 hours, the mattress from Steven Avery's bed, property tag number 8344, was removed from the evidence room and taken to the training room for analyzation. Deputy Hawkins and myself did look at the mattress and did observe numerous stains on the mattress. Deputy Hawkins did numerous presumptive tests on those stains, all of which turned up negative for the presence of blood. The mattress was then returned to the evidence room. I did place a telephone call to Investigator Weger and did inform him of our findings. Deputy Hawkins and I went to the storage shed where Teresa Halbach's vehicle was being stored. Deputy Hawkins did unlock the storage shed. Investigator Weger and Special Agent Fassbender had informed us they wished us to do DNA swabs on the interior and exterior of the door handles of Teresa Halbach's vehicle. They also requested DNA swabs done on the hood latch as well as the battery cables of the vehicle for the vehicle. Teresa's vehicle would be identified as property tag number 8027. At 19:30 hours, I did DNA swab on the interior passenger door handle. Page 937. At 19:33 hours, I did a DNA swab on the exterior passenger door handle. At 19:37 hours, I did a DNA swab on the hood latch to the hood of the vehicle. At 19:41 hours, a DNA swab was done on the left battery cable. At 19:43 hours, a DNA swab was done on the right battery cable. Deputy Hawkins also did DNA swabs on the interior and exterior handles of the driver's door. After the DNA swabs had been collected, the door to the storage locker was secured. Deputy Hawkins and I transported the swabs that were collected to the Sheriff's Department, and the swabs were secured in the Calumet County Sheriff's Department Evidence Room. Sergeant Bill Tyson, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 938. Type of activity: processing of evidence. Date of activity 04/12/06. Reporting officer Sergeant Bill Tyson. Deputy Hawkins and myself, Sergeant Bill Tyson, met once again on Wednesday 04/12/06 to continue with processing of evidence. At 14:30 hours, the empty bleach bottle, property tag number 8358, was taken from evidence room and taken to the training room for analysis. Upon looking at the bleach bottle, we did observe a stain at the bottom of the bleach bottle. Deputy Hawkins did a presumptive test, which resulted in negative results for blood. The bleach bottle was then returned to the evidence room. At 15:09 hours, the ceramic lion, property number 8357, was taken to the training room for analysis. More presumptive tests had been obtained so that the processing of this piece of evidence could be complete. Deputy Hawkins did have to leave the room to make phone calls. Therefore, the ceramic lion was signed off on the evidence sheet, indicating that I had sole custody of the ceramic lion for a period of time. I did perform 3 presumptive tests on the ceramic lion, all of which indicated negative results for blood. At 16:58 hours, the footboard to Steven Avery's bed, property tag number 8362, was taken to the training room for analysis. Deputy Hawkins did process this piece of evidence. See Deputy Hawkins' report for further information. At 18:21 hours, the brown paneling labeled number 1, property tag number 8379, was taken to the training room for analysis. The paneling was unpackaged by Deputy Hawkins and myself and photographed. After looking at the paneling, it was determined that this piece of evidence contained no evidentiary value and was returned to the evidence room. At approximately 1900 hours, the right side rail board to Steven Avery's bed, property tag number 8363, was taken to the training room for analysis. Deputy Hawkins did photograph the rail board and did process the rail board. See Deputy Hawkins' report reference the following of the item. At approximately 1938, the left side rail board, property tag number 8364, was taken from the evidence room to the training room for analysis. Deputy Hawkins did photograph the left side rail board. Deputy Hawkins collected what appeared to be black hairs. Deputy Hawkins' report reference at collection. At 20:10 hours, I did collect what appeared to be two black hairs. These hairs were located. Page 939. 42 1/4 from the end of the railboard. When the processing of the railboard was completed, it was returned to evidence room. At approximately 20:25 hours, Deputy Hawkins and myself did carry the brown paneling marked number 3, property tag number 8381, to the training room for analysis. 3 presumptive tests were done on the stains that were located on the paneling. Deputy Hawkins performed 2 of the presumptive tests, and I performed 1 presumptive test. All presumptive tests tested negative for the presence of blood. At 20:49 hours, the brown paneling marked number 2, property tag number 8380, was taken to the processing room and unpackaged by Deputy Hawkins and myself. Deputy Hawkins photographed the brown paneling marked number 2. 3 presumptive tests were performed on this piece of paneling. Deputy Hawkins performed 1 presumptive test, which had negative results, and I performed 2 presumptive tests on various stains on the paneling, which also had negative results for blood. The brown paneling marked number 2 was then returned to the evidence room. The brown molding marked number 1, property tag number 8376, was taken to the processing room and unwrapped by myself. Deputy Hawkins photographed the brown molding trim. There was a stain on the brown molding at approximately 18 3/8 inch from the end of the molding. Deputy Hawkins did a presumptive test on that stain, which tested negative for the presence of blood. The brown molding was then returned to the evidence room. Sergeant Bill Tyson, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 940. Type of activity: processing of evidence. Date of activity: 05/01/06. Reporting officer: Sergeant Bill Tyson. On Monday, 05/01/06, Deputy Hawkins and myself, Sergeant Bill Tyson, resumed processing activities. At approximately 16:34 hours, property tag number 8606, identified as 2 paint thinner cans, were opened by Deputy Hawkins and inspected for any possible evidence. After examining the paint thinner cans, it was determined that the cans contained no evidentiary value. Property tag number 8611, identified as a boat gas tank, a 6-gallon Chilton gas can, a 5-gallon model P500 gas can, a Blitz 5-gallon gas can, a 1-gallon Model P10 gas can, and a 1-gallon no-name gas can. Deputy Hawkins did process the boat gas tank and did a presumptive test on the boat gas tank at 1700 hours, which indicated negative results for blood. At 1713 hours, Deputy Hawkins did a presumptive test on the 6-gallon Chilton gas can, which also had a negative result for blood. The 5-gallon model P500 gas can was processed approximately at 1721 hours, and a presumptive test on that can indicated the negative result for blood. 2 additional presumptive tests were done on that can, which also indicated a negative result for blood. The second presumptive test was done at 1724 hours, and the third presumptive test was done at 1727 hours. The Blitz 5-gallon gas can was analyzed, and Deputy Hawkins did a presumptive test at 1737 hours, which indicated a negative result for blood. The 1-gallon model P10 gas can we examined at 1743 hours and found that it contained nothing unusual. The 1-gallon gas can was examined at 1748 hours and also was found to contain nothing unusual. Property tag number 8389, identified as a True Test paint thinner metal can, was opened by Deputy Hawkins at 1753 hours. Deputy Hawkins did a presumptive test on the True Test paint thinner can at 1756 hours, and the test indicated a negative result for blood. A second presumptive test was completed at 1759 hours and also indicated the negative result for blood. We're going to start on page 931 with our review, and it's going to be a lot of presumptive testing. So, presumptive test and did obtain a negative result for blood. That was the headboard. 932, powder horn was no evidentiary value. 933, we were unable to locate any more presumptive tests. They've done so many presumptive tests, they ran out. Yep. 935 at approximately, okay, so this is a little bit different. This is a necklace they found. Now, what comes to mind to me is where, the question is, where is this necklace collected from? It's 8352. And I don't know, the only time I've ever heard of a piece of jewelry in this case really that comes to mind is Carmen Botwell wore jewelry. I don't remember Teresa ever being seen with the necklace on. They wouldn't be collecting it from a room and having to do these 2 DNA swabs of the necklace. So where did this necklace get found? And the only thing I can think of is this possibly what they mistook for a bracelet when you hear that phone call and the guy says, we found a whole entire bracelet here, a whole entire bracelet. Are they really talking about a necklace in this burn pile that they're talking about?
Manitowoc Sheriff's Department, Carrie speaking.
Jerry, can you give me the number for the Two Rivers Animal Hospital or Dr. Cox?
Sure, hold on 1 second.
That was at a burn pile. An entire bracelet.
It's 793
793
1187.
1187.
Yep, Dutch Rivers Vet Hospital.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Nassau County Sheriff, Ann speaking.
Hey, Ann, what's up?
I've got a Vicki Siebert on the line. She said her dad lives at 12408 Jamble Creek Road.
Yeah.
And he said there's a lot of cars coming down that way, going in his driveway's right next to the driveway into the pit. And he said there's somebody shining some lights around, and he's all concerned that he doesn't think they're police vehicles, that maybe there's something else going on. Are you guys in that area?
That's where they're working. I'm on
Okay.
Road.
But there are people working back there?
Out in the pits. I don't know
Oh,
if they're
okay.
going in that way or not. Let me check real quick.
Okay.
I'll call them. Sheriff's Department 469 to County Command, Steven Avery.
Go ahead, this is Grant.
Are you guys accessing the pits off of Campbell Creek Road through that way, or are you going in a different way?
We've got a unit that's not quite all the way out to Danville Creek. I believe there might have been a state trooper that might be going in that way.
10-4. My dispatch just had somebody call, and they're concerned going in the pit off of Campbell Creek.
10-4. Earlier we had some vehicles moving around in there, and I ended up putting a unit at the 4A exit there. And I believe there was a trooper that was going to go down and stop in and check on that officer.
I'll let them know that there's law enforcement down there then. Thanks a lot.
10-4. Sorry about that. I should have made you aware.
You copy that?
Yep, I copy. Thanks, Mike.
All right, no problem.
Bye.
Bye.
So I'm not sure exactly if that had anything to do with this necklace. I'm just asking because I don't remember hearing about any necklace. So that's got me kind of a little confused as to where they got the necklace from. So let's go to page 936. It's 040306. We've got Deputy Hawkins. He's processing the DNA on Teresa Hallbach's vehicles. So they don't do this until April of 06, after the FBI has already scanned this vehicle. Okay? The FBI has already laser scanned this vehicle, and now they are now re-swabbing the door handles of the vehicle and trying to get DNA as well as on the hood latch, on the battery cables of the vehicle as well. 937, we've got that they continue exterior passenger door handle. They take a DNA swab of the hood latch on the hood of the vehicle. The DNA swab was done on the left battery cable. You know, it makes you wonder when we're talking about this hood latch. It just dawned on me. Why do we have the Rambler hood leaned up against the RAV4? Why is that Rambler hood constantly with the RAV4 in storage? Not just because it was found there. Is this when they swabbed that hood latch that Stephen had touched? Lordy. Makes you wonder. You can't trust anything in this case. Deputy Hawkins also does a DNA swab on the battery cable, both right and left, and exterior and interior door handles. So we've got that. We go into page 938. We have a presumptive test, which is negative. On bleach bottles, we have a presumptive test on the ceramic lion, negative. We have no evidentiary evidence on the paneling, nothing of value. All presumptive tests were negative for the presence of blood up to this point, and Hawkins did a presumptive test on the stain, which tested negative for the presence of blood. Then we go on to page 40. After examining the paint thinners, it was determined the cans contained no evidentiary value. We have a negative result for blood on the gas cans. No matter how many times I swipe them, they state that the test results were negative for blood. There's nothing unusual, and negative results for blood, and negative results for blood. No evidence. But let's go back and talk about that. Why didn't they keep all the wood that was covering the car? They only kept that Rambler hood. Had Steven actually touched the latch on that to open it and they knew that? Okay, you guys, so that was part 94 of the CASO Investigative Reports. And if you didn't do the crime, you shouldn't do the time. Thank you guys and have a great evening. Thank you for joining me.